For 3 years Islam's message was a secret, whispered among trusted friends in Makkah. In the house of Al-Arqam, the first believers learned about the oneness of God, away from the eyes of the city's leaders. But the truth could not stay hidden. God commanded the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to declare his message openly. Standing on the hill of Safa, he called the Quraysh and asked, "If I warned you of an army behind this hill, would you believe me?" They replied, "Yes, we have never known you to lie." He then called them to worship the one true God and warned of a day of judgment. The reaction was swift and harsh. Abu Lahab, his own uncle, was the first to reject him. The secret was out. The peaceful days of quiet worship were over. The message of Islam had stepped into the public eye, and the leaders of Makkah were furious. The storm of opposition had begun. The Quraysh leaders quickly gathered at Dar al-Nadwa, alarmed by the Prophet's open call. They feared losing their power, their wealth, and the respect of other tribes. Makkah's status depended on the Kaaba and its idols, which brought pilgrims and prosperity. If Muhammad's message succeeded, their economy and influence would collapse. "He's dividing our families and insulting our gods," they complained. Islam was tearing at the fabric of their society, creating rifts within homes and clans. Determined to stop the new faith, they agreed to fight it with all their resources. Their plan silenced the Prophet, peace be upon him, and extinguished the light of Islam. The leaders left united in purpose, ready to unleash a campaign against him. The storm was about to break. The Quraysh's first weapon was mockery. They called the Prophet, peace be upon him, a magician, a poet, even a madman, hoping to turn people away. His followers, many poor or enslaved, faced public ridicule and insults. When Muslims prayed near the Kaaba, idolaters jeered and tried to shame them. Abu Jahl and others spread rumors claiming the Prophet sought power for himself. Yet the believers endured with patience, refusing to respond with anger. The campaign was meant to break their spirits, but it only made their faith stronger. Their unity and conviction grew, even as the storm raged around them. Despite hostility, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, remained patient and resolute. He continued to share his message with kindness, even to those who insulted him. His character, compassionate, generous, and steadfast, was his greatest argument. He found strength in prayer and the words of the Quran, which urged patience and trust in God. He taught his followers to endure hardship with grace, reminding them that every trial brought them closer to God. The Prophet's calm and unwavering faith inspired his followers, turning their small community into a fortress of spiritual strength. The Quraysh were frustrated. Their insults could not shake him. He refused to compromise or retaliate, remaining dignified and determined. His example won hearts, one by one. The leaders of Makkah were left searching for new ways to stop him. When mockery failed, the Quraysh tried a new tactic: pressure on Abu Talib, the Prophet's uncle and protector. They demanded Abu Talib stop his nephew or withdraw his protection. Abu Talib, torn between tribal loyalty and love for his nephew, refused to abandon him. The Quraysh returned, threatening civil strife if the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not silenced. Feeling the weight of their threats, Abu Talib spoke to his nephew, asking him not to burden him further. For a moment, it seemed Abu Talib might give in. The Prophet, peace be upon him, faced the possibility of standing alone against the Quraysh. It was a moment of great trial and a test of faith. The future of the message hung in the balance. Facing the threat of losing his uncle's protection, the Prophet, peace be upon him, declared, "If they put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left, I would not abandon this message." Abu Talib, moved by his nephew's resolve, promised never to hand him over. The Quraysh, desperate, tried one last tactic: temptation. Utbah ibn Rabi'a offered the Prophet wealth, power, and kingship if he would stop preaching. The Prophet, peace be upon him, listened patiently, then recited verses from the Quran. Utbah was left speechless, awed by the words he heard. He returned to the Quraysh, admitting, "I have heard words like no other." The offer of the world was no match for the truth of the message. The Quraysh realized their temptations had failed. The Prophet's mission continued, unshaken. Despite persecution, Islam's message grew stronger. The believers' faith deepened under hardship, their intentions purified. They formed a true brotherhood, supporting and protecting one another. The story of Bilal, tortured for his faith yet steadfast in declaring God's oneness, became a symbol of strength. Islam spread quietly, heart by heart, through the power of truth and character. New Muslims joined after hearing the Quran or witnessing the Prophet's patience. The movement was here to stay, not a passing phase. The Prophet, peace be upon him, prayed by the Kaaba, trusting in God's promise. The night in Makkah was dark, but the dawn of change was near.